What's the saying that if you continue to do the same things expecting different results, that's the definition of crazy or something like that?
Insanity. I am the face of insanity, so never.
And that's why you're going to see this therapist.
You credited that to Albert Einstein.
Who was it? Leonardo DiCaprio?
No, you credited it to Mark Twain, but it's Albert Einstein. Shout out Mark Twain, you genius.
I thought it was Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, God. Yeah, so I'm back in therapy, which is a new thing considering my last one ghosted me. So this is, the longest relationship I've ever had.
Congratulations.
Yeah, shout out Amy. Love you, girl. And we're approaching therapy a little bit differently in the past, and not just in the sense that both of us are actually showing up. We're actually taking a different approach in terms of the things that I'm going to be focusing on in 2024. And so I'm really glad that I kicked it off before the new year, going to therapy and stuff, because now I feel like I'm entering this year with a game plan. Mm-hmm. And there really is such good energy surrounding 2024 because it started on a Monday. And to me, that's just really satisfying in the sense that I just feel like this is a fresh start for everybody. I feel like 2024, we're pressing the reset button on life. And when I was in therapy over break, I was talking to her about all these different things I was going through. And I kind of started doing what I typically do in therapy. And I like to keep things right here, right above the surface level, just kind of talking about what's going on in my life. And then, of course, she starts digging and I'm like, stop doing your job. That's uncomfortable. And I had, talked to her about my nose job journey. I had confessed to her. She was one of the first people I told. I was like, I'm getting a nose job. And she was like, wow, that's great. How you feeling about that? And so we talked about it for a little bit. But then she was like, I'm noticing a pattern in your life. And she's like, indulge me because you're paying me to. Indulge me and let's go down a mental journey of what you have done in the past pattern wise with your life.
Oh, look at you breaking the surface.
And I was like, let's not do that. I don't like to feel my feelings.
Do you turn your therapy sessions into musicals?
No, God, that's just like my internal monologue. Where I'm like, can't you just prescribe me some Xanax and call it a day? Like, why do we have to do the mental heavy lifting? Like, I'm not built for that. So we started talking about the last year of my life. And she said, I've noticed a pattern with you with, anytime you notice something about your life that you want to change, you go out into the world and you make that change. She was like, you wanted to get out of your hometown. You applied for a job out of your hometown and you moved to Atlanta. And I was like, I did that. Confirmed. What else? And she was like, well, you noticed that you were a little lonely in Atlanta, so you started a girl group to go out and do things. You went out into the world and you formed a girl group to go out and do things. That was an external change that you made. And I was like, confirmed. That's something I also did. And then she said, you noticed you didn't like your appearance, you didn't like your nose. You went out into the world externally and got a nose job. And I said, where are we going with this? And she said,
you're like, too many compliments. I know this is a trap.
I was like, I know, I'm such a high achiever. Like, what else? And she goes, well, have you thought, and hear me out, have you thought about doing any internal work?
None of that bothers you?
And I was like, ouch. Let's not do that. And she was like, she said, this is a good thing that, you don't sit back and just let life happen to you, but really think about the relationship that you have with yourself and how can we change that? And she got me to say something that I have never uttered to another human before. I told her through a lot of tears, because again, she made me feel feelings that I didn't want to feel. I told her, I was like, I think I have a bad relationship with myself and with the outside world, because I think deep down I have a fear that I might be a shallow person. And I kind of looked at her and I kind of started sobbing and sniffling. And she, of course, gave me, all the kind reasons as to why she doesn't believe I'm a shallow person. And so she's like, I think for the next year, we need to focus on you rebuilding your self-worth so that you don't have thoughts like that. Because here's all the reasons why I don't think you are that. But you need to believe that. And you have to do the work, the mental lift to really change that belief about yourself so that you don't have to go out into the world and make changes. You can just feel differently within.
I'm curious because I'm always about like the why. So you said you're concerned you come like you're a shallow person. Why did you feel that way about yourself?
I want to keep things here above surface level. I think for that reason exactly. I think for a very, very, very long time, I have suppressed a lot of my emotions and a lot of myself. And I think because I've done a lot of suppressing, a lot of who I really am has gotten lost. And
It's not lost. It's just
shoved down. And so because I don't know that it's there anymore, and I haven't seen a lot of myself recently, that I think the suppression has come off as shallowness.
Okay.
And
as far as shallow emotionally,
I wonder if sometimes the things that I say, like getting a nose job, like that felt like a very shallow thing for me to do. And I'm like, am I a shallow, vapid person?
Okay, I got so many thoughts there. All over my head. First of all, this confirms, your therapist confirmed what your goal was really for this year, because you said you wanted to be bold. Mm-hmm. You're already bold. You live life boldly, right? And the second thing that I've always sort of said, but really have lived and understand now, especially over the course of the last 6 months, is that you can put off shoving your authenticity to the side for just so long, right? You can do it for a week. You can do it for a month. You can do it for a year. You can do it for 5 years. At some point or another, you are going to come back to your authentic self, right? So why waste time?
Well, I think a lot of the reasons that I've shoved is I think maybe in the back of my head, I have a lot of self-doubt in the terms of like, what if she's not a good person? Or what if she isn't good enough? Or what if she is somehow in some way just not it? So I think a lot of times my representative shows up and maybe not the person that I've kind of gone like this to.
Yeah.
may I point out that if you are concerned about being a shallow person, more than likely you are not a shallow person, because I don't think many shallow people even recognize that in themselves. So the fact that you even consider that, I think negates the fact that you are shallow.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a lot of excavating. We're going to see if that shovel hits some dirt or like a hard rock, and we're going to see how deep we can go.
The Bert Show.